like to call the Utilities meeting of October 10th to order. Ms. Fontenot, could you please lead us in prayer following the pledge?
Yes, I will. Father, we do honor you tonight. We thank you for the many blessings you've bestowed upon Ascension Parish. We ask tonight for wisdom and courage. We ask for funds. We ask for creative ideas to move this parish forward in the utility department. As always, we pray for our soldiers, both men and women, who fight on foreign soil, who uphold this nation with their diligence. We thank you tonight for them. We ask for their safety. We ask you to bless them and return them to us soon. In Jesus' name, as always, we pray. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I believe we're going to ask for 2/3. Mr. Shakespeare, we have a few issues to add to the agenda. Mr. Shakespeare.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The first one I'd like to have put on 2/3 request by Councilman Thompson is a consolidated utilities district in Darrow.
Okay, that'll be 6A. Motion.
Second.
Second by Mr. Shakespeare. Any opposition? Motion carries. That'll be 6A.
The next thing would be an update, discussion and update on the jail sewer. I make that offer that as a motion.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Shakespeare, second by Ms. Fontenot. Any opposition? Motion carries. That'll be 6B.
And then the third thing would be an update from the Corps by Mr. Roland Muro.
Motion.
Second.
I have a motion by Ms. Fontenot, second by Mr. Lambert. Any discussion? Any opposition? That'll be 6C. Okay. We have public comment. Anyone wishing to speak, just sign a speaker card with the secretary. Number 4, Hillryville wastewater project update. Mr. Rue.
Yes, sir. I don't know if you have this in your packet, but I'm going to hand out some things. We had a meeting just a day or so ago on the Hillryville project, and what I'm handing out right now is a new estimate of cost to do a change of scope for that project. And I think we talked about it once before, but basically what we're looking at doing, and it seems to be very feasible, is to, instead of putting up a treatment plant, package plant for Darrell, as was bid out in the last in the bid itself that we went out previously, is to actually send the wastewater from Hillryville to Darrell plant and process it at the Darrell plant, utilizing the effluent line from the Darrell plant now that goes along 22 to the to Conway Bayou. Utilize it as actually the line going, part of the line going to the Darrell plant from Hillryville. So you save some costs there using it as a force main going that way. And then we can put the effluent from the Darrell plant, instead of coming down that line on 22, put it into a ditch that's actually next to the Darrell plant right now. And we got right-of-way, tentative right-of-way from the owners of that ditch, the property that it goes through. It goes to the same location. It goes to the Conway, but at a different point. It looks good, and if you notice in the estimate prepared by GSA, and you look at the last page, really, it gives you the summary of it. Based on this, you really look at the revised project, it cost about $1.3 million. And whereas we have the funds to cover that, the estimate of doing it under the other scope the bid came in at 1.6 7, I think. But this looks like it'll save us some money. It's a doable plan. And what we're looking at doing now is getting acceptance to go this route, to change the scope, do the engineering on it, and bid out this scope of work for that project. So again, I'll give you time to kind of look over it and maybe collect your thoughts, and we can answer. Lynn Chance, the GSA, is here, and between him and I think we can, and Barry Smiley, I think we can answer.
Mr. Rue, Mr. Shake Snyder has a question.
According to this bill, we have actually budgeted funds already. We have $38,000 for the parish, almost $1 million from LCDBG, and $500,000 from the STAG grant. That's already budgeted.
That's right.
Okay, and so that's within the scope of what the cost estimate would be, even with the street restoration.
That's right.
And so it also gives us a little bit leeway if they have overruns now.
That's right.
Okay.
Question, Mr. Chairman.
And I want to emphasize one thing on that first page, just so there's no misconception and somebody to come back and ask about it. We're still having to pay about a $54,000 price for the design of the Hillryville plant that GSA has already supplied to us. They had to do that for the bid, and we never did pay them for it. We never did do a change of their scope for the design of that package plant. So
Okay.
it is, we do have that. It is in hand. Unfortunately, we're not using it because of the construction costs,
I got you.
but we still need to pay them for
Right.
the work.
So that's
they
an
provide.
addition bill, or that's included?
That's an addition. Actually, we have to pay that no matter what. You know,
But I mean,
if we
Right,
need
but
taken off.
it's in addition to this cost estimate.
No, that's part of it.
Okay.
In this
That's
cost estimate,
included in it.
1.3 is included.
It's all included
Okay.
in there.
And now that will be the increased size of the package plant to handle both of those,
Well,
and
Part of their task is the first thing really is to do evaluation of the Darrell plant just to make sure that it does have the capacity to take everything from the Hillryville.
what's your thoughts on that, Lynn?
Wait, before we, I'm
Right.
sorry, Mr. Lynn. Okay,
Well,
go ahead.
The Darrow plant can handle what's called Hillryville Phase 1, no problem. Our task there is to see how much more of Hillryville we can serve and still put it in Darrow without having to upgrade the Darrow plant.
Okay.
So that's the issue there.
So you'll let us know on that?
Yeah, we've already looked at Phase 1, and the existing Darrow plant as is can handle that flow, no problem. But the evaluation that Bill was talking about
Is
is
it
to
built
see if we can put Phase 2 in there also.
Is it built such that you're able to add capacity to it without?
We would have to, you'd actually have to expand the plant to appreciably increase capacity. There may be a little bit we can tweak out of it. The problem is right now it's permitted at its maximum limit to operate that plant without putting a filter on it. So if we go another 500 gallons in that plant, then we have a whole different set of discharge limits that we
Okay.
have to deal with. Right now we're discharging it at 20 BOD, 20 TSS. If we put another 500 gallons in that plant, we'd go to 15 BOD, 10 BOD, 15 TSS, which means that we would have
Put a
to
filter.
put a filter on it, yes.
Okay.
Mr. Lambert? You have a question?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, that was the question with the capacity. And I guess the best thing about this is everything will discharge to the Mississippi River, correct?
No, this goes to a parish ditch.
Parish ditch?
Right. But it's permitted for that now. You know, in any case, whichever, if we would have, the bids would have came within reason at the when we bid it out. That's where it was going anyway to Conway, and this is
Okay.
the same thing. It's still going there.
Bill, who gives us the permit to discharge effluent in the ditches, rivers, whoever?
DEQ and
Have we spoken to DEQ or EPA to make sure this added amount
That's where it's going anyway.
I know, but we're going to be
we had a
adding, so we
permit.
have to change our permit or no?
No, because it's all within the other permit. We're still within the limits of the other permit.
You had something, Mr. Chance? If you can, just stay in the mic until we finish this.
Well, I get exercise this way. So. The only thing that we'll have to change on the permit in doing this is just to change the discharge point, because we'll be discharging at a different point. But other than that, no change to the discharge permit at all. So
Okay.
the discharge limits, because we're not changing the capacity of the Darrow plant, the discharge limits would still stay at 2020. And that's what I was saying a while ago. If we increase the Darrow plant, then the discharge limits are going to change. But we are not changing the discharge limits. We're putting this additional flow, and the plant has that much additional capacity in addition to what is being put in from Darrow right now.
This is on phase 1.
Right, on phase 1. And we're also going to look and see how much of phase 2 that we can build and put in the Darrow plant also.
Bill, do we have any idea what's our estimation of when phase 2 and 3 or whatever is going to come online?
No, we don't. And like with this, I guess probably what we'll look at doing is after the evaluation, and if in fact it can handle an increased flow where we can add on to the scope of the Hillaryville to phase 2 or whatever, we'll probably look at maybe placing it as an alternate on the bid. So if the bids, we look at the bids when they come in, and if the bids come in where still it's both of them together is under budget or at our budget, we can accept both. If it comes in where just the base bid is at the budget amount and the increased scope is over the budget amount, well, then we'll take it to the council and say, do you want to spend the extra month to bring in extra scope, or we'll reject the alternate. So again, we got some options that way based on what the bids come in.
The original bid that we put out that came back too expensive, was that to handle just phase 1, or that can handle 2 and 3?
Was it just one?
The plant was to handle all of Hillaryville, all the way back to Rufin Martinez and Oston Beard, and to handle all of Hillaryville and handle all of Astraland. So the plant was significantly larger than just for Hillaryville.
So how
But the
much was that
collection
bid? I don't
system-
remember.
But
It was 1.7 million.
Okay.
But the
Now,
collection
guys,
system-
I mean,
Well, let
we're
me-
looking at 1.3 now, and we're going to have to expand and spend more money for 2 or 3 other places. Where if we
No.
spent 1.7 now, we could cover it all.
well, not necessarily. The
Costs us
collection
$200,000
system,
extra to get
the
everything.
collection system, I think, the bid was just for phase 1 for the collection
Right.
system. You see, the
That
capacity of the
project was
plant-
just for the collection of phase 1, but it had a treatment plant large enough to carry the whole area there. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I was just asking to see if I was clear in what I'd said.
So that, Mr. Shakespeare?
And I think what Jared and I had discussed is that if we're going to do something, and I know down the road they're talking about another phase in Hillaryville and everything, that we should, if we're going to build something, some treatment plant, then it should be large enough to handle future
Phases.
future phases in there.
All right.
But
Yeah.
one consideration, and we're going to talk about a little bit later with our comprehensive plant, is that we're going to propose a dual routing of the initial collection system for the comprehensive plant. One is, of course, going into the northern part of the parish, the Goudin Basin, but the other at the same time is going south to the Highway 22 area because of the potential amount of development that will be coming to that, and trying to get a start on it to take in some of these subdivisions. If we do that, then naturally one of the first things we can do is start tying in the Astroland, all of Hillaryville area and all of probably Darrow too into.
So it would be more prudent to go ahead and do a package plant now, knowing that the comprehensive plant would be something that would take it in future.
Actually, it's best to reduce the cost, send it to Darrow.
Right.
Let Darrow process what we have right now, what we're able to do, until the comprehensive plan comes
Okay.
online.
Well, I don't know.
you're going to spend them.
Debate here. We could spend $200,000 more and have a system handle everything. And I understand collection's not there,
But that
every
system,
year there's a LCBG cycle, another almost $1 million.
but also you need to
collection.
consider that treatment plant will not handle these new subdivisions coming on.
That's right.
It only handles Hillaryville and Esterland.
Mm-hmm.
That 1.6 MGD plant that was designed for the Hillaryville area in the first project was before all these new subdivisions came online. So it was not designed to carry all these new subdivisions.
So basically what
Neither is the Darrow one, though, right?
No.
But all of it's
But the Darrow was never intended to
Right.
carry all
Yeah,
that.
correct.
See, this is again. You need to go back. We need to go back, and if in fact the decision of the council is to go forward with a comprehensive wastewater system, well, then I think we should go with just put it to Darrow, go get this as cheap as possible, and put and then spend your money on a comprehensive plant so you can send it
I see.
there. It's no use wasting the money for a plant that's going to be obsolete in a couple of years.
Right. In other words, we're going to
see?
use our comprehensive plant as the end
That's
result.
right. Send it all
And
up there when we get
We'll
back.
have 10 more package plants in that area before we get comprehensive.
Well, we're going to talk about it tonight, and that's one thing you have to look at and see
where
where
y'all
we
gonna
go
find
from
that
here.
50 million?
Exactly. That's another issue. So again, we just trying to work it within the parameters of the direction that the council gave us so
Right.
far.
And all our concern is that we want to spend the money where it's wisely, where we doesn't, where we can take in future expansions. That's important, and that we not have to come back again. So, if we have to pay more money now, we'd rather do that.
The other
Now,
issue, too,
but your recommendation that we keep the cost down and look forward to the comprehensive thing, in that East Bank area there, I think that makes sense also. So,
Well, and I mean, the good thing about this plan, too, is that this new force main we're talking about laying between Hillaryville and Darrow,
can go
ultimately you can take the flow either way.
either way.
And it'll have the hydraulic capacity either to pull Darrow back to the north or take Hillaryville to the south, depending on how the comprehensive plan comes together.
And that would tie in. That would be able to tie in with the comprehensive
Right.
plan
Sure.
over
Right.
there.
and we're going to
Okay.
go through that a little bit later. You might get a little bit clearer understanding how the comprehensive plant's going to work, the collection lines. Then also, like Laverna just mentioned, the O&M cost. Maintaining just one plant is a lot less than maintaining two.
Right.
So, we'll reduce the cost of maintaining it by sending it to Darrow
Okay.
for right now. So
Yeah, we
that's
just
a
looking.
good
I
decision.
mean, once we finish the hydraulic study on the Darrow plant, we'll come back with a report to you on what actually can be handled in the Darrow plant.
Okay. I'm fine with that.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Mr. Lambert.
You need anything, Bill?
Well, we need a motion to go forward with this. We're going to have to
So moved.
enter in an agreement with GSA.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Shakespeare, second by Mr. Lambert. Discussion, anyone? I have a little bit more. Bill, would it be better, since we don't know, Mr. Chance says he has to do a little bit of studying on capacity and all, why don't we task that instead of the whole project?
Yes, sir, and you're absolutely right. They have a task order contract with them, and our standard procedure is to task segments.
Why don't we wait on that information before we issue a $1.3 million project and we don't know if we actually going to do it?
And that's what you're doing. You're giving us the order to use their task order contract to go to the first phase of this, which is the evaluation part, the basic information, and
That was your
That was
engineering.
my motion.
Okay.
Right.
Right.
All right, just wanted to get it clear. All right, we have a motion by Mr. Shakespeare to issue the first part of the task order to GSA, Glenn Cheyenne and Associates, on the Darrow Sewer Project. We have a second by Mr. Lambert. Any further discussion? Any opposition? Motion carries. Please put that on agenda for the next council meeting. Parish-wide wastewater comprehensive plan, Mr. Bill Rue.
Okay, they can be bringing it up on the screen, a map. And it's kind of hard to see right there, but This is an overall map of the whole system. If you notice, again, it's kind of hard, and we'll flip to the next screen in a minute. If you notice the top, complete at the top, that encircled area is the Bayou Goudin collection, initial collection system area along Highway 73 in the northwestern part of the parish. If you see about midway down or about middle of the screen, you'll see a block. That's the piece of land. That's where our wastewater system plant is planned to go. That's a piece of land that is being donated by BASF to the parish, which is just north of Lamar-Dixon, adjacent to Lamar-Dixon. If you notice the line going south, let me see. And then, in fact, this is the Goudin area there. This line going down south from Lamar-Dixon is an alternate, not really an alternate route, but it's to be done at the same time. It's a proposal to send a truck line down to Highway 22 and then along 22 from Darrow to actually to the interstate, close to Highway 70. And the reason for this is that through the planning department, we have come to realize that there is a number of huge subdivisions that's planned for the Highway 22 area from one end to the other, actually. And part of the reasoning for this is the fact that this is all open, but for the most part, open land. It's very easy to go through, very quick to put truck lines in, and if especially coming south, that's the primary route of if you're going to expand the highway, the St. Landry Road south, it'll probably be coming along this general direction. And again, it's all vacant land, very easy to put this line in there. The purpose of doing that is to be able to tie in these number of large subdivisions planned for this area and have it ready to accept their wastewater without having to go through negotiations and other problems with a wastewater system operator buying the package plants and then having to convert that over to our collecting system. Again, we make it from a feasibility standpoint, it just makes sense to jump ahead and pick up these subdivisions and put the infrastructure there to accept their wastewater prior to them building instead of waiting until after it's developed. And again, it's the cost, feasibility cost is for that project. But at the same time, we're saying that we need to go to the northern part of the parish because that's where the vast number of subdivisions already exist. That's where our density is, and that's where we can pick up a number of existing subdivisions and get some type of revenue coming in to support the overall system. If you look at what I just handed out, and these are just real, I guess, basic budget numbers here, but looking at this, if you look at the first set of numbers, that's for the Grand Goudin and the Highway 22 basins combined. In 2007, you need at least probably in the neighborhood of $650,000 just to get things rolling, mostly for right-of-way acquisition and start doing some preliminary work, engineering work. 2008, you probably can get cranked up a little bit more with actual construction of your waste treatment plant, but then you're getting into more right-of-way, more engineering, and some of your collecting systems already also. So now you're looking at additional budgeting of about $8.5 million. You know, if you're going to really kick this forward quickly. 2009, if you're lucky, you still can push it, and if you have the money, you're looking at budgeting over $10 million. And then 2010, over $5 million. You come to a total of about $24 million for the plant, comprehensive plant, and the collection system, both collection systems at one time. If you look at just the Grand Goudin Basin by itself, same scenario, but you're looking at overall $17 million to do that. Because again, you're still building the same plant just about, except your collection line system is lower. The problem with all of this is the fact that our source of income has primarily been revenue or grants from the Corps of Engineers, 219 money, and some STAG money. We have not been able to determine through the Corps what's available coming year. It doesn't look real good because of problems in Congress and funding that's coming out of Congress. It looks like that without some definite means of revenue generation, we're going to be getting to the point where we can't move forward with this comprehensive plan. What I'm asking you tonight, I want to throw these figures at you. I want to make you aware of the fact that we're at the point now really moving forward quickly with this plan. However, we really need to sit down and start talking about revenue other than grants, probably. How we can get this project off the ground. This is no action tonight. Again, it's just for review and discussion, and so you start everybody coming in and start thinking about it. We're going to be working on our end with the Corps of Engineers and consultants on options to finance. I got the Corps coming with a business plan that should be coming to me very shortly. In it is going to have different methods of financing, different opinions, different scenarios of how you go forward with this with limited amount of grant money. At that point in time, we'll come back to you with some suggestions. But again, this is just an update, tell you exactly where we're at and what's the problems out there right now.
Mr. Shafner, you have a question?
Yeah, that was basically what I was going to say, Bill, is that we're in a situation where we committed to a comprehensive plan, and I think this is a good plan that we're using density areas to get a great deal of customers, and then we're using an area that is currently being developed so that we reduce our construction costs. And I think there's a window of opportunity here that we need to take, because it's going to only get more expensive, and the people of the parish are going to have to come up with more money, and we don't want to get in the situation as it is in Baton Rouge right now, where they have that impact fee for sewage, and that sooner or later we're going to have to have some type of bonding or something on this. And I think we need to look, give us some options, give us some figures of how we can possibly move forward and get this begun so that we can get some construction done in the parish and start receiving some revenues. And and I think it's imperative that we look at it as quickly as possible and start providing services. So
I have tasked, and again, I got to get a report from them, but I have tasked the Corps, and they've been working on it for about, I guess, 4 or 5 weeks, maybe more. And that is to bring me a business plan on how the financing, the structure of the department, put everything down, everything together, and see, so we can analyze it and determine what's the route that you want to go. Okay. What kind of tax, what kind of bonding, or whatever. So when that comes in, everybody's going to be, it's probably going to be fairly comprehensive, and we're going to send that to the council members, and so you can review before we come to a committee to start discussing it.
Thanks.
Any other questions for Mr. Rue? Comments? Through Mr. Rue?
That's all right.
Mr. Shafner?
And since we're talking about comprehensive planning and all, and we've been dealing, part of the way we're dealing with our sewer is that we're dealing with a lot of LCDBG grants. Can you also, while you're working on that, is to give us some a little more guidance and deadlines and things with these LCDBG grants, because we need to take a better look at them. We're missing out on opportunities by not getting them completed in timely manners, not necessarily due to any other reason, but there may be some things that we can do to try to make sure that we stay on a timetable, and that we can continue this money flow that we have. And it's interrupted a lot of times. We may be able to speed up the process by helping out, and I would just like to see that if any of these things are ongoing, that we get a constant report on them and give us the deadlines and give us some options as to how we can help meet these deadlines. I think we're putting people that are implementing these things and letting them finish, and we're kind of putting them on their own. And anytime you run into any type of problems, we have no mechanisms to make sure they get fixed, and so that we can stay on a timetable. And I think it's very, very important, because each time we miss a year, we miss out on another $1 million. And whatever if we have to spend an extra $200,000-300,000 within a year's time, the benefits far outweigh, our cost to the people that what we get. So.
I can tell you,
if you can just help us with the process and what we can do and to help keep these things on a timeline,
we discussed this, Councilman, in the same meeting actually too. And give you a little bit of update right now and make sure everybody understands that. You can only have two at a time. We have one,
right,
which is the Hillaryville. And that's why we're anxious to take this thing. If the council wants to do it, and the bids come in within budget, we want to move forward with this so we can complete it next year.
Mm-hmm.
In addition to that, of course, we applied for two. We got the Hillaryville, the Hillaryville Phase 2, and also the Lemonville collection system in the jail. And it depends on of course, the state.
We missed out on them this year.
Missed out, but we applying for two. Now, only one can be accepted, and it's based on points and some other issues. But we're waiting for that for the end of the year, for January, to find out about which one of those go through, and that'll give us our two for next year. But we want to move quickly with hopefully, I tell you, our opinion is we want to move forward with the jail, because that's imperative. We get that up before the end of next year,
right?
Because of the jail expansion. So we're pushing real heavy for that. But in any case, we want to make sure that by the end of next year, both these projects are completed, if possible. The Hillaryville and the jail, or Lemonville, whatever else we're going to do. And so we are on timeline right now, but we need to get the information in and get the results back of which one's picked by the block grant, and move forward and make sure it's complete before the end of the year.
I just think we need a greater sense of urgency to stay on a timeline, to stay within that. And I realize that when you're dealing with sewer, it's a lot harder, and there's going to be some times where we don't meet the timeline in order to just keep that rolling through.
Well,
but
but
we want to make sure every opportunity that we can possibly get, we get.
You got the other issue too. In both cases, we're next close proximity with Mississippi River, and that's a problem in the springtime by itself. And so whichever case, if it's the Hillaryville Phase 2 or if it's the Lemonville project that's chosen, and we go forward with, we still going to be running into some problem with being next to the Mississippi River because of the flooding of the Mississippi River, or the higher elevations in the Mississippi River. But that's going to be part of our goal is to see what we need to do to complete them before the end of the year, and go from there.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Mr. Lambert.
Bill, also with the private wastewater plants, are we staying pretty well in contact with these folks? Let them.
I had personal contact with the primary owner of some of the plants. He is receptive to talk. If in fact if we go forward with our comprehensive plan, he is receptive to sit down and talk and negotiate how we can get with a win-win situation between him and us, if in fact we get to the point we need to take his plants in. And we're also looking at what ordinances we need to pass to be able to automatically take those new subdivisions in. And what one possibility is mandatory that the subdivisions turn it over to the parish when completed, but then we'll contract him out to do the same work he's doing now, for a price and a portion of the fee. So that's one of the things that we're looking at, and we're going to come back to you with an ordinance once we determine that we got the money, and we're definitely going forward with a comprehensive plan.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Mr. Real? Number 6, we have a discussion of ordinance for non-compliant residents. I'm assuming this is in Darrell?
This is in Darrell, and it could be anywhere. When we come into a situation where we're adding a wastewater system, as in the Darrell plant, or in the other places such as I think Country Ridge and everything, we have an agreement. We have things in place with the water company, but we get into a situation where we don't have that, then we're not really sure how we'll be able to enforce their payment of the bills. You know, most of the time it's you cutting the water off or you eliminating other utilities to be able to collect the bill. In some areas, the Darrow area, we may not be able to do that if they got private water or they got whatever the case is. So the only thing we're doing here is permission and authorization from you to go forward with formulating an ordinance to account for how we're going to mandate that they pay, residents pay a bill.
So moved.
Motion by Mr.
Recommendation to
Shakespeare,
the council.
Second.
second by Mr. Lambert. Recommend, well, it doesn't have to go to the council.
No, this is just authorizing us to go ahead
Just
and
authorizing
form
Bill to
an
do
ordinance
that.
and
Okay.
come back for your review.
Bring a draft ordinance to Utilities Committee. Any more discussion? Any opposition? Motion carries. 6A, Consolidated Utility District in Dara. Mr. Thompson asked us to put this on the agenda. I was hoping he could make it. Anybody has any discussion?
He called me before the meeting. He got caught up in traffic in Baton Rouge and wasn't able to make it. And what is happening is we have currently have a water district in Darrow, and what they're asking to do is create a consolidated utilities district. Take all of the utilities and consolidate it within that district, and use the same boundaries of the current water district so that the water board and everything can continue to maintain that. And the reason behind that is just what Bill was talking about earlier. It gives them the ability to collect on wastewater, because then you're also servicing them water, and when you do not collect on monies, then you're able to cut the water off, and then that's the normal way that people are able to get collections. It also is a big advantage when you're talking about right-of-ways. Whenever they get a right-of-way for the utilities district, it's a utilities right-of-way. It's not just for water, it's not just for sewage, it's not just for gas or anything else. It's all utilities. And so these utilities districts have been able to gain right-of-way for no monies involved, and so it's a very significant thing is to be able to get these right-of-ways to be able to put utilities down in the future. So I'm very much in favor of this as a step in the right direction. Hopefully on the East Bank we can continue to expand this and try to get more and more utilities districts, and make one large district on the whole East Bank as soon as we have an opportunity. But this is a first step in the right direction, and I'll offer that as a motion.
I'll second it.
A motion for what? Just
To-
arbitrarily create one?
No, to have Ricky Babin research and come back with us an ordinance to create a consolidated utilities district in the Darrow with the same boundaries that they currently have, and bring us back.
And I would like to comment.
Yes.
Mr.
And again, I don't have a problem with it. The only thing we need to do is get some clarity on how this affects the new franchise agreement we're coming in with, the water franchise agreements and things such as that. Because that's right now. I mean, we've been working, and Chairwoman Fontenot has been with us on it. We're almost at the point of signing, or bringing to the committee, council, the final document. And also the situation where if in fact we go forward with our comprehensive wastewater system, how does that play, and what kind of problem that may pose if, again, we go with a comprehensive wastewater system. So we can put that all in. We'll find the information out. We'll give it to Mr. Babin. We'll work together on it, and then have him report back.
Thanks.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Shakespeare, second by Ms. Fontenot. Any further discussion? Any opposition? Ms. Webb, can you make sure that gets forwarded to Ricky for draft ordinance, and also address Bill's concerns and questions so we can have that information at the next meeting? Thank you. And go ahead and put that on the next agenda also. 6B, discussion of jail sewer. I believe Alma's going to handle this one, or Bill, or combination.
Yeah, no, Mr. Armour.
Mister?
You're coming up in the world.
When I throw you to the line, it's Mr. So.
That means he's going to ask for money from you.
All right, Mr. Root.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Alma. Cool. Building will fall out.
Well, I guess the last time we met, you asked us to put together an evaluation of providing wastewater treatment service to the West Bank of Ascension in the unincorporated areas. Since we were given notice to proceed, I think the immediate concern is handling the jail expansion by the end of next year. So we kind of pursued our analysis, but we added this little sort of phase one, which is immediately accommodating that additional flow from the jail. Let me just walk you through it very quickly. There are three alternatives that we're looking at. One is expanding the facilities at the jail to handle growth of the jail itself and any additional flows within the unincorporated areas of the West Bank. The second option, alternative, is to build a parish-owned plant to stepwise accommodate the jail and then subsequently growth within the area. And thirdly, working with the city of Donaldsonville, contributing to the expansion of the city's facility, and jointly, kind of cooperatively, handling the treatment of wastewater in the West Bank of Ascension Parish. Again, the number one concern here is being able to accommodate the jail expansion, which is, I think, fair to say expected for the end of next year, 100-bed capacity expansion. Right.
The 100-bed may change depending on, right now the opinion is that we need to go through expropriation process to clear up a piece of property next to the jail to make it the most adequate construction project is actually to move it from where proposed before, put it at another location, and if in fact they cannot get the property in a timely manner, they can go with a half that, a 50-bed or so, until they get the back property and then go with the full 100-bed or something like this. So, but we are pursuing the expropriation of that property, and it's still expected to have something in place, by the end of next year. So we need to have, first of 2008, we need to have the capacity to be able to take the wastewater.
I'll just, if it's helpful, I can quickly walk you through these numbers. Is that? That's fine. Chairman? Okay. First alternative is to build or expand the existing treatment facilities at the jail. And at the time of our authorization to proceed, it was not only the jail expansion itself, but also Lemonville. And to handle that, based on our opinion of probable construction costs, and also taking consideration the 20-year net present worth of operation and maintenance over 20 years, we expect about $2.6 million in today's money to handle the expansion of the jail and Lemonville. Now, if we were only to expand the facilities just to handle the jail, we would take out these costs that are associated with Lemonville immediately for the coming year. So we would look at a significantly lower number, probably closer to about $500,000. Second alternative is to transfer flow to a newly constructed parish-owned treatment facility. On the second page, you'll see the full costs associated with the life cycle, I guess, of the intended service area, which would be the unincorporated areas on the West Bank and accommodating any potential future development along the river bend. I guess we're calling that Point Homeless. The 20-year net present worth of that is $34 million. Again, that is the total cost of ownership and operation of the facilities if the parish were to construct their own treatment plant.
And that's over 20 years.
Over 20 years' time, yes. But that's not, that doesn't...
Cost, correct?
Correct, yes, sir, that's right. But that does not, I guess, help you understand what the immediate costs are. If you go to the second page, we're calling this the phase one of alternative two. Again, phase one of building a parish-owned facility. and that's to immediately be able to accommodate flows coming from the jail. We expect that the 20-year net present worth of building that facility and immediately handling the flow from the jail would be about $4 million. The third alternative is to cooperatively with the city of Donaldsonville accommodate those generated flows. And again, analogous to alternative 2, we're talking about bringing in flows from currently developed areas like St. Jude, A-Bend, and Lemonville, but then also transferring flows from anticipated new customers, in currently undeveloped areas of the river bend. That 20-year net present worth cost is about $47 million. And then to just immediately handle the flows from the jail by sending flow to Donaldsonville, the cost is about $5 million. And that is the cost of building the facilities to get flow from the jail, the expanded flows from the jail to the city of Donaldsonville's treatment plant.
Any questions, any comments from Mr. Armour? Mr. Schexnayder.
Basically, what we're saying right now, the feasibility right now, we basically have two options, three options. We can do a package plant at the jail for somewhere around $500,000. That would cover the jail, which we receive no revenues from, and then any other increase we would have to do something else. Am I right?
That's right. I mean,
okay. Then we have an option.
Just before we get off of that expansion would also cover capacity for Lemonville. Wouldn't
yes,
be tying in; it'd just be capacity.
Just having the let's call it like the
40,000 GPD.
Yeah, 40,000 gallons of capacity available for when Lemonville were to come into the picture, right?
Yeah, if they get the LCDBG. Right. Yeah, but it wouldn't handle any future expansion in the area or any business expansion or anything like that.
Well, you would be looking at a maximum treatment capacity of 40,000 gallons per day, regardless of where that flow would come from, whether it be Lemonville or elsewhere, right?
Okay, so it would be very close to capacity at that point, if they included Lemonville.
Yes, with I believe 95 homes within Lemonville, using 3 or 4 people per house, and 100 or 120 gallons per person per day, you'd be right there at capacity, right?
Okay. So we would.
That's like 28,000 gallons per day.
Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, that's okay.
Go ahead.
We'd pretty much be stopped at that point. All right. Then you have basically the second alternative would be to build our own wastewater treatment plant. Their regional plant, the beginnings of it, I would imagine that would be the first phase of it.
Correct, the first phase of a treatment.
And which would be 2.3 million, of which we would own, and have a lift station at the jail to bring to our own plant, and we would pump that effluent into the river. Am I correct? And that would be available to upgrade, in that any time that other areas come online, we could handle the upgrades from there.
Well, the cost,
everything would go to the treatment plant then.
The cost that we've presented to you for this phase 1 of alternative 2 is an initial capacity of that parish-owned facility of 250,000 gallons per day.
Mm-hmm.
That would exceed really the current, let's say, immediate need of the coming year with the expanded jail and even Lemonville, I think, and probably still room to spare, actually.
Okay. And then we could use that facility as an add-on to continue accepting new developments in that area.
Well, right. I mean, the ultimate capacity needed. I mean, based on kind of what our best guess of what growth and the population in that area might be is probably 2 million gallons of total treatment capacity, ultimate treatment capacity.
So eventually you could get to 2 million gallons in that facility.
That is what our total alternative 2 and actually even alternative 3 going to Donaldsonville anticipates ultimately having to be able to treat 2 million gallons per day.
Okay. So to get to that point, it would be 3.9 million, right at 4 million.
Correct.
Okay. And then the other thing would be to build a lift station at the jail and install a 16-inch force main from the jail to Donaldsonville wastewater treatment. And we would probably have to do some upgrades to existing wastewater treatment there, and that would end up over the course of time ended up costing $4.8 million.
That would be over the course of time. That would be the immediate first year,
Right.
or construction cost. That
The
doesn't.
immediate first year cost would be 3.1, something like that.
Something like 4 million.
About 4 million. And then over the lifetime that we've been talking about it, it would escalate to almost 5 million.
Well, 47 million ultimately with expansion to the
Yes,
full area.
but I'm just talking about the jail. Speaking apples and apples, the jail going to Donaldsonville. You have on here 4.8 million.
5 million, yeah, about $4.8 million to accommodate all of that and
Okay.
get to the jail. Right.
Okay.
I think one thing that I should make very clear that this cost anticipates a bulk service rate that the city may charge the parish. We don't know what that rate is.
Mm-hmm.
This assumes a $2 per 1,000 gallon rate. I really don't know if that is. I think only once we've talked to the city and come up with an agreement, we would really know what that number is. But I think just kind of a basic comparison tells us that for alternatives 2 and 3, just considering these two alternatives and not any other costs or opportunities for revenue, just the cost of construction. For the city of Donaldsonville, alternative 3 to equal the cost of alternative 2, the rate that the city and the parish would have to agree upon would be something close to $1 per 1,000 gallons treated.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
It would only be answered, with discussion.
I think we've gotten some information now that we can move forward with from the standpoint. I think the next step is to meet with ACUD and the city of Donaldsonville to get some details into what they are offering now for that plan, so that we can get a closer number. And knowing the urgency of it, to make sure that we get in ahead of time for the jail. Mr. Rue, could you make that meeting happen where we can meet with Donaldsonville and find out the particulars, so that we can come back at the earliest possible convenience and make a decision on how we're going to move forward with the jail in that area. And,
I'll set a meeting.
and then also, would you please begin looking at, give us some options as to how we can pay for some of these options that we have, whether it be in the form of bonds or anything like that, user fees or whatever, how we're going to go about paying it. And our ultimate goal is to try to utilize our monies in the best possible way and not waste any monies and have to redo it in another couple of years. So.
Any other questions for Mr. Hyman? I might have one quick one. Alternative 2, Phase 1. It calls for $250 GPD, how many possible residences or structures could that possibly handle? Anticipated growth, like after Lemonville and the jail.
250 gallons per day. I mean, you'd have to also consider, how much of that would be taken up by the jail. I think we're expecting something in order of 40,000 gallons per day for Lemonville and the jail itself.
So that leaves you with 210.
I think on the order of 700 to maybe 1,200 typical three-person residences.
Yeah, that's why I'm asking.
I mean, to arrive at that number, you have to consider what type of density and facilities and commercial
just something
residential.
rough,
But
just guessing.
probably anywhere from 700 to 1,200 typical residences.
That's surprising because that would entail everyone that's around there now.
The current population.
Yeah.
Right.
And businesses.
Any other questions, comments? Thank you, Mr. Almer. Bill, you have anything? And lastly, we have an update from Mr. Rowland.
Roland Muir with Hartman Engineering, and I assume I'm asked about the progress on the EID.
Yes.
Well,
Yeah.
just anything, any
Okay,
update
well,
you may have.
that's the
but
latest,
Especially
yeah.
EID.
EID, we've been in contact with Gene Watson, EPA in Dallas, in mid-September. He called and wanted to meet with the Corps. We had a meeting set up in New Orleans with the Corps of Engineers and Gene Watson to talk about the EID. He has been looking at it. At the meeting, he had essentially gave us 4 comments, and not truly anything to edit or change in a document. He just wanted 4 pieces of information, standalone submittals for EPA to process their approvals in-house, such as an extended mailing list for them to mail out the finding of no significant impact. He asked us another detail to change the front page to take the word draft off. 4 items like
And
that.
he flew to New Orleans to do that?
Well, he had other grantees to talk to at the time. I think he was talking to other parishes, and he wanted to talk to the Corps about the EID and some other internal Corps EPA matters. We addressed each one of those 4 comments individually, sent it all to him electronically. I talked to him on October 3rd. He said he had everything. He had been passing on the information to the people within the EPA that handled the various parts of the approvals, and he said he didn't have anything else that he wanted right now, but he could come back and ask for something later. So it's being processed internally with EPA. That's where it stands, and there's nothing we can do to speed it up. But we even sent a letter on behalf of the Corps offering assistance in any way that they could. They meaning the Corps to assist him in moving the approvals along. And all we like I said, we had the meeting, we had the 4 comments, and we shot it back to him very quickly. And we followed up. He has the data, the information, and it's in his hands.
Any questions from Mr. Rowland?
We're not hurry up and wait for it.
Yep. Anything else, Mr.
That's all I have.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And that brings us to number 7.
Move to adjourn.
Motion by Mr. Lambert, second by Mr. Shea Snyder. Adjourn. Oh, excuse me. We're going to have a 10-minute break before the Transportation Committee meeting.